from a libertarian standpoint, it's because our medical system is overregulated.
Oh, you think that if we just deregulate the medical system, that it would get so much cheaper and it'd be all better?
100%. That's why
really?
a lot of people go to Mexico for medical treatment.
Do I got something to show you?
That's also why,
dude,
I order all my medications from India.
I couldn't agree with you more. So I got something to show you. All right, hear me out. Right, if you take a look right here.
Oh, you're a handsome fella.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so take a look, man. No regulations.
I see a picture of Indian fellas feeding each other.
No, so actually what this is a street dentist. What they do is that they do dentist work right there on the street. It's cheap too, really cheap. Wouldn't that be great if we had this in the U.S.?
Man.
What's up? What's your name?
My name is Ryan.
Ryan. All right, Ryan. What do you want to talk
What's
about?
What's your name
Ryan?
again? Sorry,
I go by First
saw you
Amender.
on my feed and I just was like, oh, cool. I'll just tune in.
I go by First Amender.
Also, sorry, I'm drunk. I just got out of a bar with my family.
Sick. And so you pulled out your phone and then I showed up?
Well, actually, I was watching you before I showed up to my family event, and I was actually calling like crazy because...
Oh, you were? Yeah. I apologize. Yeah. I try.
You're good. You were answering other calls. Oh. You answered a call from a fellow that said he was a conservative that used to be a libertarian, and you said that you also at one point were a libertarian, and I was like, oh, cool. We'll have common ground because I currently am a libertarian.
Okay, yeah.
But I really don't know what to debate about, so...
Okay. Well, how about this? I'll tell you, like, what pulled me away from libertarianism in general. So the way that I kind of thought about it was after a while, I started looking at, like, my libertarianism as effectively, like, what I called my ideology statue. And I believe, like, just about everybody has an ideology statue that they look at this, like, thing that they want to protect and they want to make beautiful, and they just want it to be, you know, this thing to admire, and they do everything they can to remove any blemishes. So they'll, you know, install gardens around it, you know, they'll read about it, they'll put a fence around it, they'll polish it. And so, like, that's effective. Like, my statue at the time was libertarianism. I strove to protect that statue. But what happens is that when you read about your thing and you learn more about it and you spend more time with the statue, you start to notice little problems, like here or there with the statue. For example, you'll be like, oh, well, you know, I don't know, this arm doesn't look super great. I'm just gonna cut off that part of the arm because it just doesn't match the beauty of the statue, right? And so, like, a good example of this is, well, we kind of need some level of government. I mean, obviously we can't have anarchy. It would just be, you know,
I totally agree.
It would basically we need a court system. We need police. We need contract law. We need, like, you know, effectively a monopoly of force of the government. And so, you know, there you are, and you're cutting off that little bit of the statue. Next was...
But also, I don't necessarily think that, because, I mean, so you were a libertarian, so you understand that, like, the whole principle of, like, the non-aggression principle.
Yes.
Okay,
so the next thing that I noticed was the understanding regarding foreign policy. I think I read, it was Bob Woodward's book, Fear, that made me realize that I was woefully misunderstood on how exactly the foreign policy worked in the United States. You kind of have this, like, initial premise of, like, just a live and let live. The problem of the live and let live is that sometimes the people that that you're dealing with aren't necessarily live and let live, but it's like super Machiavellian, super calculating, and perfectly okay with hurting a lot of people just to get what they want. So contending with that,
wouldn't you say that that's because of the institution of a state in the first place?
Well, that's kind of the problem of like, that's kind of the problem of the current, like, yes. So that's kind of the problem of the libertarian idea, is like the solution is effectively, is effectively, well, if we just didn't do that bad thing in the past, then we would be fine and there would be no issue. Well, great. I mean, I'll go ahead and get Doc Allen and we're going to ride in the, in the time machine and, the DeLorean time machine. And I'll tell Jimmy Carter to not sign that peace agreement between Palestine and Israel, right? Then we won't have to deal with the Middle East. Like, obviously that's not a viable solution. We have to kind of deal with the cards as we have them now. And it's not like in and of itself very easy to just simply say, well, let's just wash our hands of it and not involve ourselves. It made me realize that libertarians don't actually have an answer for foreign policy. So there I was chipping off another
I think
piece.
I disagree with you on there. Though.
Okay.
I think we could just wash our hands of it and say,
how?
Fuck it.
OPEC is more than happy to completely destroy the United States, like they tried to do in the 1970s as a result of the defensive war of the Yom Kippur War. We were about 2 weeks away from people starving to death.
That would be the case if we up and left the Middle East completely alone and let Israel fail on its own, because it definitely would if we weren't involved.
Okay, no, fair enough. I'm saying I'm not in favor of wanting to help out Israel, right? I don't believe in helping out ethno states. But I'm saying, like, right now, OPEC is not our friend, right? And if there wasn't that threat of violence there, then they would very much gladly do that, right, for their own power. And so it's situations like that I have to reconsider, like, whether or not that we should be defensive about that or not. And so that's, again, like the libertarian response is to just kind of live and let live. And it doesn't really address the complicated nature of foreign policy and why diplomatic efforts are very necessary, why there's instances of like actors that do not have the best interest of the United States at heart. In fact, have an openly antagonistic one. And sometimes it requires preemptive action under that basis. I hope that
I disagree with that. I think most of the antagonistic action is, I mean, you've said it already, is because of our past and how our foreign policy has worked. I
agree, but I don't have a time machine to reverse like it.
Oh, you're right, but I think the first step, like I'm one of those cringe Irish Americans that's very connected with their Irish culture.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being connected to your Irish culture?
My great-great-grandparents
nothing wrong with that.
Sorry,
you know Gaelic?
Great-grandparents came over during the famine.
Do you know Gaelic?
And, I'm actually learning it. I'm proposing to my girlfriend soon.
Very cool.
Hopefully, and
I wish you luck.
I'm going to do that in Ireland because she's...
Congratulations. It's beautiful in Ireland. Okay, the next thing, right, that kind of struck me a bit. I mean, we could agree to disagree there. That's fair, right? I recommend reading the Bob Woodward book, Fear. I think it'll help illustrate, I guess, what I'm talking about. As far as...
I'll check that out. I will check that out if you check out Scott Horton.
Okay.
Have you heard of Scott Horton?
Nope.
He wrote a book called Enough Already, and it's about it. Basically, it starts from Eisenhower in the 1950s era when Iran wanted to nationalize their oil, and he was the first president that started our great tradition of overthrowing democratically elected leaders in the Middle East.
Yep.
And ever since then, classic America, our government has ruined pretty much everything. So
there is another thing that I noticed regarding libertarians. They basically say, hey, listen, if you have a social safety net, you know, it has some unintended consequences that lead to worse outcomes. However, the more I read on economics papers and journals, the more I realized that that is a total myth. That's incorrect. There are some government programs that can be quite negative. Then there can be like government programs that generate a profit. And then there are government programs that don't generate a profit, but are very beneficial. It just comes into a matter of like, okay, well, what is it are you trying to accomplish? And when you observe, for example, like most European countries, the quality of living is quite high, yet their GDP per capita is lower than that of the United States. But for whatever reason, they live a higher quality of living standard, and they have free health care. They have a more educated population because of largely free college. Food and food insecurity is effectively unheard of. These are all things that are just kind of assumed in European countries because of the social safety nets that were created to benefit the poor. But in the United States, we have this idea that, oh, it's going to be really negative. But like, let me give you an example. The Pell Grant pays for itself. The Pell Grant, people going to college through the Pell Grant, the government pays upfront money for the kids to go to college. And so, if they graduate...
Sorry. You gotta, when you talk to me, you have to use like libertarian language. And so like when you say like free and government pays
okay, yeah, we coerce people out of their money. I got you. When we coerce people out of their money via taxes to then go to the Pell Grant, the amount of money that was spent on that results in that person becoming more educated, and because they become more educated, they end up paying more in taxes than they would if they were not educated. And you have a more educated person. It's literally a win-win for not only the government, but also the person. They live a higher quality of life standard by just coercing people out of taxes.
So I do think that there can be an argument for these policies more at a local level. I'm one of those kind of libertarian level.
The Pell Grant is a federal program.
Right.
Affects everybody in the United States. But we can observe through the MVPF that it increases overall quality of living standard, and it pays for itself 5 times over for every individual that we put money into.
Right, but at what cost? I would argue. You know, you would.
Not at a cost, at an investment. An investment. For every dollar we put in, we get $5 out of it.
So, but who benefits from that? Not the people that are being coerced out of their money.
No, the people who are being coerced out of their money also benefit. Because one day they become old and they need workers to be well educated and have a high technology base, so that way it improves people's lives. People don't make technology or new discovery by being uneducated. So yes, they do benefit. Everybody benefits.
I agree with that, but I don't. I think a private system would probably work just as well.
Yeah, but better. The problem is like we kind of did the whole private system with the colleges, and it turns out that it just kind of makes things like hold on, listen to me. It just made things very expensive. However, in most European countries, you don't really pay any more than like €1,000 a year as a local. So like we could observe the difference, right? We're able to observe the difference. And a lot of people, what they say, like astutely, they'll tell me, well, if you pour in a lot more money into the Pell Grants, they astutely say, wouldn't the cost of college go up even more because there's more pools of money available? The answer is yes. So what you do in a situation like that is you have a cap on how much money that the college is able to ask for. Yeah, we do this kind of stuff all the time. It does work. There is a level of centralized central planning that does work. This is one of them.
I do not think that's the case. I think central planning.
If you go to European countries, we observe the results.
But we subsidize them
through
the
war?
fuck out of them.
Through war? Are you going to argue for the military industrial?
No, just through everything. Whether it's.
They never asked for that. The military-industrial complex of the United States. We don't subsidize.
Oh, I mean,
we subsidize the military-industrial complex against Russia.
I don't think that you could argue that they don't like it. I don't agree.
They don't like the
Obviously,
U.S.
I'm a
meddling in their
libertarian.
things. No country likes it.
Oh, they don't.
They just
Isn't,
tolerate
like,
it.
Isn't the entire statist regime right now talking about Ukraine?
Yes.
So they like our military industrial.
I think they like NATO.
NATO is. I mean, I don't think
Military
you can
industrial complex.
from
Is that
NATO.
what you're gonna say? NATO is a
I don't
coalition.
think you can separate. You can't separate the military industrial complex from NATO.
Sure, regarding the United States, but I'm saying that right
even
now the United States isn't
Germany's
exactly trustworthy when it's
military-industrial
coming to
complex
NATO
is
anyway. That's beside the
for
point.
sure.
So
No,
like
I mean,
you're
agree.
saying that they're subsidizing it. I mean, maybe to some extent that's kind of true, and that they need to put in a little bit more money in their total GDP, which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But the issue that I'm running into is, again, we can observe these European countries, which, by the way, have a lower GDP per capita. They have a much higher quality of living standard in the U.S. Heck, their life expectancy is higher than the U.S.
I agree.
Isn't that embarrassing? We make $88,000 per person,
I agree. That
and
is
you're going to tell me that we
totally
can't afford
agree.
basic health care? Why?
I totally agree. Well, I'll tell you why. At least from a libertarian standpoint, it's because our medical system is overregulated.
Oh, you think that if we just deregulate the medical system, that it would get so much cheaper and it'd be all better?
100%. That's why
Really?
a lot of people go to Mexico for medical treatment.
Do I got something to show you?
That's also why,
dude,
I
couldn't
order
agree.
all my medications
You know,
from India.
I couldn't agree with you more. So I got something to show you. All right, hear me out. Right, if you take a look right here.
Oh, you're a handsome fella.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so take a look, man. No regulations.
I see a picture of Indian fellas feeding each other.
No, so actually what this is a street dentist. What they do is that they do dentist work right there on the street. It's cheap too, really cheap. Wouldn't that be great if we had this in the U.S.?
Honestly, I don't think it's a problem. All right, I'm going to mute your YouTube video.
All right. Let me help you out. I'm going to help you out. Do you think people want this?
Well, when you say when people want this,
all right.
What
so here's
I
the thing,
hear
right?
is you're saying
people want so just so you're aware, right? We pay more per person in healthcare than any of these other European countries. Much more.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
We're able to observe hospital companies super, super rich. They show up on the initial public offering. They're there on the New York Stock Exchange. We see insurance companies, once again, super, super rich. Very, very rich CEOs, lots and lots of money. Okay? And, by the way, both of these are lobbying our politicians.
Yes.
And they're making a lot of money doing it. Okay? And so when we're sitting here and we're seeing that on average, it's over $11,000 a year per person that we're spending. Meanwhile, you have the Netherlands, which has, I think it's less than $6,000 per person spent, but their healthcare is completely paid for. And you know what's crazy about that? They don't have street vendors. What? Street dentist vendors. We don't need to do this stupid thing. This is stupid. This is a really dumb idea. What we do is that we just have a decent healthcare system where you don't have insurance companies that can double dip, right? We design a system where it's actually affordable and it's a single payer system, and we don't have to deal with these insurance companies and all these extra stuff, and the government can negotiate lower prices. That's what they do. In all of these different, Canada did it, New Zealand did it, Australia did it, almost every single one of these European countries did it. It works really well. We know it works. And they don't have street vendor dentists. You could just go to a dentist and get the care you
I don't
need
see-
because that's what they offer.
I don't necessarily see the problem with street vendor dentists,
Bro,
but
dude,
I
this
also
is
think
so
that street
gross.
vendor
Are you
dentists-
kidding? Would
I
you
know
go
that
there?
it's kind of the classic. It's kind of like a classic libertarian criticism. Like,
Yes.
you would just like have, you know, pharmacists become drug dealers and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. There's a lot of different flavors, but there's a lot of different flavors of
All right,
libertarianism.
so here,
like, there's
let's-
libertarians.
So here,
that
let's look at the
believe in-
dental care in the Netherlands. Man, I can't even imagine. Man, where's my street vendor? I would rather have. Listen,
Where's their one?
I wish my dentures were.
Dentist having shoes though.
Yeah.
I would
Why do
think
they
my
have
dentist would have
shoes?
shoes.
What the heck? No shoes.
A lot of them don't.
Dude, you're not getting my point.
I guess I'm not. I
You're
don't.
not.
Explain it to me.
We have better alternatives. You don't need to have the silly market-based approach. We've tried the market-based approach, and what we end up with is this awful
When did we try to
amalgamate-
market-based approach?
We did in the 50s. What do you mean? That's literally what we did. Right? It wasn't
In the
good.
50s?
What happens is that you end up with a lot of medical malpractice, and so you require regulations on that. But as regulations increase,
you don't
it increases
require
prices,
regulations
and then people
on it.
get more and more upset.
You just require lawsuits and people being held responsible for their medical malpractice.
That means that they can't practice medicine. This is the problem. It doesn't work out in the long run. This is why most of these ask yourself, why is it that in most other European countries, they have a socialized healthcare system? It works.
A lot of it is because we subsidize it.
Oh
Some
my
of
God!
it,
Stop.
when you
No,
talk
we
about-
don't subsidize their
when you talk
healthcare
about
system.
things like,
Again, per
when you talk
person,
about Norway,
they pay
it's
less
because they're
than in the
very
United
rich in
States, but
natural
we don't have
resources.
free healthcare.
Well, nobody has free healthcare.
Oh my God.
We don't.
We
enslave
coerce it
doctors.
out of people. we do that here in the U.S. The problem is that it's more expensive per person. And for whatever
No,
reason,
I
we got
agree.
super
And I
wealthy
think
insurance
it's
companies
because-
and super wealthy hospitals, but we can't seem to figure out
No,
where
let's-
the money is
let's
going.
Let's try to focus on what we agree on. We definitely agree that the insurance companies are lobbying our government, and maybe we differ in this arrangement, but I would argue that they argue for regulatory capture in the fact that they don't allow competition between state borders. They don't, all the classic libertarian
All right.
talking points.
So I just want to let you know, okay? Here, just for fun, so you can see it for yourself, right? United States spending in healthcare compared to the other countries, okay? Like, I'm not crazy. When I'm saying, okay, in the United States,
I'm not
it's
saying
so
you're
high,
crazy.
it's off the charts, right? No, I'm not. I'm not.
No,
saying
I
that.
agree. I totally
It's
agree with you.
$13,432 per person. Switzerland sits
I agree.
at second
It's
at 9,688. Germany 8,000. Austria 7,800. The Netherlands is 7,737. Sweden is 7,522. The comparable country average 7,393. Belgium 7,380. 7,136 in France. 7,013 in Canada. 6,931 in Australia. United Kingdom 6,000. Japan at 5,640. It's cheaper in all of these countries, and they have free healthcare. They don't have to deal with, like, we have people here in the United States putting out a second mortgage.
Free word with me. Again, you can't use this free word with me.
It doesn't matter. We coerce it out of, but listen, we already do the coercion within the United States. We already have it. We do it at $13,000
No,
a
I
person. We
agree. I think the only
coerce the money out of people
I think
at
the only
the
coercion
tune
that
of
should
an
exist,
average
though-
13,432, whereas all these other countries, they coerce no more than 9,688, but their healthcare is totally paid for.
No, and I agree somewhat, but I think a lot of it.
So you think we should
the
privatize
reasons
the
why
healthcare
ours-
system?
Do what now?
Do you think we should privatize the healthcare system?
Oh, 100%.
Oh my God. I think you need to think about that longer. I really do. I don't argue things that don't work. I know these policies work. The socialized healthcare system works. We've done it. It works.
What, the public healthcare system?
The socialized healthcare system that exists in most of these European countries, they work, and it costs less.
Well, I mean, I would disagree. So I would argue that we do have a socialized healthcare system.
No, we have a more privatized healthcare system in the United States.
No.
In
I
comparison,
disagree. I just think that
hold
it
on,
is.
hold on.
I disagree.
Let me ask you this: which one has a more socialized healthcare system, the United States or the Netherlands?
I would say that they're both equal in different ways,
dude.
As far as which one's more
I need
socialized.
you to take off the yellow glasses that are libertarian colored, the yellow black ones that you're wearing. I need you to think about it empirically. Which system?
I'm not wearing the glasses, but I do have the snake.
No,
in my
but
arm.
you know the answer. You know the answer. You know that the Netherlands is more socialized. You know it. It is. What?
It's the classic libertarian answer. Like,
yeah, I know it's the classic libertarian. That's why I'm saying you're wearing the libertarian glasses.
I only have the tattoo on my arm.
You have a libertarian tattoo on your arm?
I got the snaky snake, dude.
Fuck me. I like the snake. I'm not against the snake.
So, one day, I think you'll come back to the good side, away from both Democrats and Republicans, because they're both fucking awful.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
I think you're stuck in the.
Listen. So
I
stop.
Think
I'm gonna help you out, right? I'm gonna help you out.
Of why you need to be libertarian is that
just hear me
the
out.
Government ruins everything it touches.
Hear me. That's wrong. That libertarian idea is wrong. It's wrong.
It's not though.
So I'm gonna help you out, right?
Eventually, everything gets captured.
Shush for a second, please. Okay. I need you to recognize that the U.S. healthcare system is less socialized than in the Netherlands. That's 100% the case. I'm going to help you. Yeah, I know, because it goes against the paradigm of libertarianism. I'm showing you the flaw in your statue, and you refuse to acknowledge it. Just hear me out.
Brother,
I need you to hear me out. I need you to hear me out. Just pause.
Hear me out. Hear me out, please.
What?
Okay.
Sweetie, are you affirming my gender? The U.S. does not have universal health coverage. Okay, most people get their insurance through private employers, right? Medicare, Medicaid. Kind of. These are both helped through the private employers.
Can you say that it's private though when they're lobbying with the government and the government gives them a bunch of?
Let me finish.
Okay.
There's millions who remain uninsured. Providers, hospitals, doctors, pharma is overwhelmingly private. The government does play a patchwork role, such as Medicare and Medicaid, or VA for veterans. However, there is no overarching There is no overarching guarantee for care for all citizens. Okay, in the Netherlands has universal coverage. Right, everyone must buy health insurance. The private insurers are very tightly regulated by the government. The government is setting the rules. They require insurers to accept everyone and subsidizes people who can't afford the premiums. Basic coverage is standardized and mandatory. While there's extra coverage that you can get, that part's optional. You could pay into that. However, while providers, they're private, the financing and the regulation, that is super socialized. Okay, the Netherlands is way, way, way more socialized than the United States. And it guarantees healthcare. It tightly regulates the private insurance market, and it ensures affordability through subsidies and mandates. Okay, the US is way more fragmented. It's super market driven, and it leaves so many people uninsured. Okay, so this idea that you have in your head that if you just privatize it, it gets better, it's just wrong. You don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
it's not just that you have to privatize it. It's also that you have to deregulate it and
But dude,
get
the Netherlands
rules
is
off
better
of
off.
it. The Netherlands is better off partly because we subsidize them and partly
No,
because they are
stop.
super resource
We're
rich.
not talking about that. Also, the United States is resource
but it
rich.
all-
You're
it
the
all comes
we are the
into play
wealthiest.
in this
We're the
whole
wealthiest country on planet Earth in all history. Yet we can't have basic health care.
I would disagree with that as well.
Oh my God. What's more wealthy? What? China?
China's definitely more wealthy.
Oh my God, kill me.
Like, I don't think you can argue that. China's
Kill me.
by far more wealthy.
All right, well,
He doesn't know basic facts of the
we're
world,
well
what the
past
hell?
this. You're the video of the week. You're the video of the week. And here, I was gonna make that kid the video of the week. You're the video of the week.
All right.
Socialized healthcare work. All right, I'm gonna give you the last word. Go ahead.
Well, I still think you're a fairly handsome fella.
Thank you.
What do you mean, last word?
Well, you could say I give you a closing argument just to be nice.
Government sucks. It ruins everything it touches.
Okay. Look up the MVPF. Google that, and you'll learn government
All
doesn't
right.
suck.
You better read Scott Horton though on foreign policy.
All right. Good talk.